For me, like the strength training side, the reason it's, I guess I have that same, just love the process of it. I think part of that's being able to like do a ton of different variations and change things and keep it fresh. Do you feel like you can do that with running? Does it ever get monotonous?
I would say it depends how you train, right? If you're just training long endurance and you're just doing base runs every single day, it can probably get pretty monotonous, especially in the winter in Iowa on a treadmill, running the same speed over and over again every single day. That can get monotonous. But with the like training for a mile race, like you have to incorporate lactate threshold and tempo and VO2 max training. And there's just a bunch of different ways you can mess with heart rate zones and mess with different timed intervals and recovery times and just mess with what works for you and what you're seeing improvement with. So it's almost like a trial and error every single time you go out because you're testing your own body and seeing what you're able to adapt to and what you like and what you don't and what maybe your cardiorespiratory system's a little bit better shape than your lower legs are. So you have to do a little bit um, less loading on the cardiorespiratory side and more loading on the body aspect. So maybe you have to go at slower speeds than you want. Do that over time. But I found it super interesting to kind of get into the weeds to see what research is out there on heart rate zones and lactate zones and what we have found um, just throughout the history of running because we've been running for forever, right? Like humans, we're born to run, we're made to run. So it's been studied for a long time. And just seeing how I can apply the science in my own training, how I can both listen to my body, but also be analytical and be data driven with heart rate zones, with RPE, with interval time. So it's been really, I'm a nerd about it. I've grown to love the data side of it and seeing how it relates with paces, with feel, and just seeing progress over time. Like you can really gamify it, especially if you have, I have a Garmin, like you have a 5K race predictor, 10K race predictor. So you can see those improve over time. You have an endurance score, so you can see that improve over time. It shows you a VO2 max, just like a guesstimate based on previous training sessions. So it gives you a lot of things that you can gamify it and see progress over time. And you can also see like the detriment of what not training does to those. It always goes away faster than it comes, right? So the cost of taking time off and just wanting to be consistent and see those slow progress over time. It's cool. It's been really fun to dive in and learn and apply. It's been cool.
I'm a big elliptical guy. That's my cardio, none of this running stuff. But I think that's what keeps it engaging for me too, or gamifying it is having like heart rate zones to go off of, or specific calories to burn, or time intervals. So switching that up, but also just having different targets to shoot for. That what I personally have found makes it more fun rather than just doing the same, continuous zone two, whatever, every day. I know you have your heart rate monitor. How much, I guess, how often are you basing off heart rate versus time versus like lactate, VO2 max? What are you basing most of it off of? Or is it all of those?
So like my base run days, like today I basically know the heart rate that I'm trying to stay within on my base runs. Like I'm trying to be upper zone two. I know like the numbers. So I can mainly I assess based on A, how I'm feeling, two, how I'm breathing, three, how my heart rate's responding, and four, my paces. So like those four I can judge like how fast I should be running based on that day to achieve the adaptation or the stimulus that I want. So those days are easy. Like I wouldn't even need to look at my watch if I like didn't have to. I could do it without a heart rate now because I've done it for so long. As I get more as I get more into the intervals, the tempo workouts, the threshold and VO2 max, those I base it off of like 5K pace, 10K pace, half marathon pace, like stuff like that. So I know those paces and I know the rough heart rate ranges of those paces and what zones I should be hitting for those intervals. And I know based on some research that I've done, like suggested time periods for those intervals. So I know like effort and like how long I should have those intervals. So fartlek style workout will be longer than a VO2 max interval, or like a lactate threshold will be like trying to build lactate. So you're going really fast for not very long, and then you're recovering, and then you're doing it again. But I've messed with ways to incorporate a lot of things into a workout. I think it's an art to programming for running, because it's trying to make the most out of the limited time you have, because it's a lot of pounding, right? Like you don't have unlimited time to practice. It's not like golf where you could practice hours on end. Like it's something that takes a lot of CNS fatigue, and something you have to be super careful with your time if you want to make the most of it. So I've been dabbling with just messing with workout intervals and trying to make sure I get a lot of different stimulus and adaptations.